Appreciate everybody being here today. I hope you don't mind being crammed in together a little bit in this space. It's intimate, we'll say. It's funny, we were making jokes yesterday about having Earth Day breakfast and it rains. It's not actually raining at the moment, but we would be having to hold on to everything that we were eating because the wind is pretty fierce. So it was a good call to be in here. And since you're over here, I know that some of you may not have explored this wonderful Julia Idison library. It was beautifully restored 2 years ago. It was completed. As you're on your way out, take a left and go in and see some of the the reading room. Take a look up at the beautifully restored coffered ceiling we have in there, and just some of the artifacts we have here in this building. The Julia Idison is not just a great historic building, it is a wonderful space for the city of Houston. Now this is, as Laura said, the third Earth Day breakfast, but Houston's been celebrating Earth Day for a long time. We decided to start doing the breakfast so that we would have an opportunity to thank the partners that we've worked with, who we've worked with over the past year. And this year has been an especially busy year. I want to highlight just a few of the things that are happening. Some of it's brag, some of it just to let you know all the things that are going on, because so much is happening, it's hard to keep up with it. I would say that this is the year of the bike, definitely the year of the bike. And the first I want to thank every one of you in here who is a citizen of Houston and voted for our bond election, and particularly the parks piece of the bond election. So, because of your vote on parks over the next, actually, my note says 10 years, but it's going to be 5 years, right? Where's my parks board in here? 5 years. Where's Roxanne? Over the next 5 years, we'll add 4,000 acres of new, equitably distributed green space that also serves as a part of our flood control system and helps stormwater quality. But in addition, we're going to complete 300 miles of continuous hike and bike trails that will meander through these greenways and connect all of the city of Houston. Now, one of the challenges, though, is that our bios, and we have a lot of them, flow west to east. And I want to thank Centerpoint for working with us. Hopefully, we will get our legislation passed in Austin that will allow us to use utility rights-of-way for additional enhancements to our hike and bike trail system that'll give us some critical north-south connectors and some very strategic segments for our system. But in addition to trails, we have a massive expansion of the Houston Bike Share program. We just put the Bike Share program in last year. There were a lot of folks who said, oh, no one's going to ride bikes in Houston. They're not going to want to rent bikes. It's too hot, on and on and on and on. Once again, we have proven that Houstonians are just as interested in being outdoors as they are in any other city. And while you might sweat a little bit at some times of the year, we have an outdoor climate. Our bike share program, with just 3 kiosks and a handful of bikes, was phenomenally successful. We have now stepped it out to 21 kiosks and 175 bikes, and they're in regular rotation and being used very extensively. And in fact, Laura told me that the #1 checkout station for the bikes is on the Sabine Bridge. And so apparently a lot of folks are, they'll either coming from work, they'll drive their cars in, then they'll pop over to the Sabine Bridge, jump on a bike, and go up and down along Buffalo Bayou. And as Buffalo Bayou Park completes its renovation, you're going to see a lot more of that. Still on bikes today, at the Public Safety Committee of Council, we're going to be talking about a safe passage ordinance for the city of Houston. It's part of our long-term commitment to complete streets, but we're going to join many other Texas cities go a step beyond state law and remind our drivers that bicycles do have a right to the road, and that there are responsibilities of those of us in cars to provide space for bicycles on the road, and so that we'll have local ordinances, I hope, that we can enforce as well as state law. We're also putting in bike parking. We did a major overhaul of our overall parking ordinance for the city of Houston, and for the first time ever, we allowed consideration for bicycle parking, that if you put bicycle parking, bike racks in, allow accommodations for bikes, that you can have relief from some elements of our parking ordinance. So trying to be flexible. And in addition to the year of the bike, this is also the year of recycling. Everybody knows that I'm not just an avid recycler, I'm kind of a rabid recycler. I'm always being pulled out of trash bins. I hate to see, particularly after all of these years, an aluminum can in a trash receptacle, but I have, even as an avid recycler, I have had those moments where I stand in front of the bins and I look at what I have in my hand and I say, is it trash, or is it recycling, or is it paper? You know, like cups. And we have a solution to that dilemma, or we hope we have a solution to that dilemma. We are going to be exploring a one-bin-for-all solution to not just see if it works for Houstonians, but actually testing the technology and the level of technology to see if it will be applicable nationwide. Houston was the winner of a Bloomberg Foundation challenge, $1 million to allow us to move forward in testing a one-bin solution where we use technology to separate recyclables from garbage and do it obviously post-consumer. We believe that it has a potential to take Houston from a 14% recycling rate, which is just really embarrassing, up to as high as a 74% recycling rate, which would be phenomenal. Yeah. This is cutting-edge technology, and we are working to find a partner to help us do this, but great potential for the rest of the United States if we can prove out what is clearly a workable technology, just whether we can do it on the scale we need. And then it's also the year of water conservation. Drought is still on everybody's minds, unfortunately, and anybody who drives through Memorial Park on a regular basis has a face-on reminder of how devastating that drought was. And by the way, since I'm talking about Memorial Park has a new director. Where's Shelley Arnold? If you don't know Shelley, brand new director of the Memorial Park Conservancy. It's like women run the world around here. It's interesting. So, but one of the things that the drought taught us was that Houstonians really don't know what to do with droughts. We've never had one like that before. We have often a very profligate use of water in our homes, in our businesses. Through our Green Office Challenge, the city has been working to incentivize partners and businesses across the city to engage in water conservation. But I put together a task force, I know there's some members of it here, to look at what we can do as a city, as a community, to change the attitude about water. Maybe we don't all need the huge expanse of San Augustine grass, for example. Maybe there are things that we can do in our own homes to cut down on water use. I'm going to continue to work with my task force, but look forward to some new policies here in the city of Houston, not ordinances, but new policies and a public awareness campaign to reorient Houston and Houstonians who are used to doing with too much water rather than too little water, to to say that, you know, times have changed and it's time for us to change our attitude. And then we continue to lead by example. The city for many years has been recognized as by the EPA as the #1 municipal purchaser of renewable energy here in the heart of the oil and gas industry. Still commitment to renewable energy. 30% of our energy comes from wind. That will change this month as we increase our purchase to 50% in wind. And we will continue to lead the nation as the largest municipal purchaser of renewable energy. I'm excited about the things that we're doing, not ready to stop. Every year when you come back and join us for breakfast, you're going to see more and more exciting initiatives from the City of Houston to make us a cleaner, greener city. And I thank you for being partners in those efforts.